Yeah, he might need those. He might need those headphones. Grace and peace, y'all. This is let me see. I'll be able to tell him 1 second. All right. Grace and peace. Just type 1 if y'all hear me down inside the if y'all hear me down inside the. All right, let me turn this down and get ready. Just type 1 in there. Now, let me see. I'm gonna go back to the screen so I can see. So I can. All right, Sister E. Grace and peace. I see you. I see you. I'm gonna come back to y'all in a second. You already know the situation. I put that topic up there about why can't we all just get along? That come from Rodney King back in the days when he got beat up. I'm not sure if you even remember that. Rodney King got beat up and there was so much rioting, there was so much fighting, and they tried to get him to quell the people. There's been beef in the among people involved in urban apologetics and people involved in the Hebrew Israelite movement. One of my main things is separate the moderates from the camps, because there are Hebrews, people that claim that they're Hebrews, like Sister E, that don't really say that white people are devils and we need to separate from them and all of this other stuff. And then we have the camps. And in the beginning, I said there were a lot of people coming out and they were lumping everybody together. We know Vocab came out. Vocab, I'll say names over here. Vocab came out, shout out to him, and he wrote specifically on One West, the history of One West. His book started getting some traction and jumping because more and more people wanted to know. I said Vocab is important in the movement because he brought the attention to some European evangelicals, James White and everybody. They're looking into this thing, a couple of years back after he dropped the book. They're looking into it. So now it's more dialogue. We have people on the regular that's banging. Shout out to Faithful. They're putting in work. Vocab, you can say what you want with the doctrine. Faithful sharp in the book. Now I'm gonna give Sister Ian the mic. Faithful sharp in the book. Other cats out there, y'all know Sister Cherry and them out there, so real out there. It's other people that's doing stuff. Some people upset with me because I have Sister E on. I shout out Pastor Majors and Kelly, and I say we have to sit down and we have to dialogue. In the history of Christianity, in these last about 1900 years and 2000 years of Christianity, race has not been a color. White folk were acting crazy during slavery and all that, and we know that that's not right. But what these people are calling this awakening right now, and more people of African descent are saying that they're Hebrews in Israel spread out from the destruction of the temple. It's raised some questions that do have people concerned. So they're questioning the doctrine when it comes to DNA, when it comes to race, and it's some serious stuff. Sister E, y'all were on last night. Dr. E jumped on and we were talking about, a little bit about Shaka Utmost and, the conscious community and some back and forth with that. But, Pastor Major can jump on anytime Sister E is here. So I said, Mace, being that we had on Pastor Mace on, let me bring up some of this stuff right here because there's been some stuff simmering and some people licking shots over here. And, we lick shots. I mean, this is what we do. People go back and forth, but some don't sit down and dialogue. So we're here to dialogue. Today, Sister E made a post, and we family in here. We family. And White shared some things in which he disagreed, and this is what we're going to discuss right here. And I want to talk about, Thanksgiving and just showing love. A lot of times y'all not around y'all family, or y'all are with unsaved family, and y'all get to reading this book and act like y'all can't mingle with your family. I want y'all to enjoy yourselves. I want you enjoy yourselves with your family if they believe what you believe or not. Family is important. Sister E, White, who would like to go first?
White can go first because I still love you, Thomas.
No. Don't clean it up now. We don't get it all out because this
and I'll go first because the thing is, the sake of the community and especially our group, I don't want to ever be considered as divisive. But we have to be real. We have to be real. And I'm not saying Thomas, people like Thomas, and I even say people like BK Apologists, they have been able to come and try to bridge with us, with the Israelite community. But just like y'all want us to stand against the camps and stand against poor doctrine, who is standing against those in the apologetic community that's considered consistently creating division. Because even though you all talk about vocab coming for One West, we must not forget about a year ago when vocab put his foot in his mouth and attacked Pastor Omar, Pastor Kelly. He slick goes for the moderates. Yes, he created a book about One West.
In what way? Help me out with that right there, because I call vocab and check vocab on that. No problem with that. Is it their doctrine? Because Desmond is in here immediately. Desmond, urban apologist too. He done been through Sunday seminary. Desmond in here saying, he said, grace and peace. Do you think we need to correct moderates who may hold to non-orthodox views? That's why I asked Mace about Sister E, and you said on you first and second Maccabees, we discussed that. So the thing is, moderates do believe some things that orthodoxy don't believe. The main thing is not the doctrine, not the skin color. That's an excellent question, Des. Come on.
But let me finish my point, because just like y'all are
how did vocab tear down Kelly and whoever you said, the pastors?
Okay. So how are we checking us, but you all are not checking the Calvinists that have come in y'all community?
What Calvinist? I'm a Calvinist.
That's a Calvinism is not orthodoxy. That's orthodoxy based off of John Calvin. But can you all go back to the original church fathers, which are the word of God? Because some Calvinists love to say salvation is for all. But when you look at some of the teachings within the Calvinist community, they're not saying the same thing. They're not saying the same thing. Calvinism is just confusing.
That's why you have Pastor Mike Holloway, shout out to him, and BJ and them. They're going back and forth. If you're dealing with Calvinism or you're dealing with Arminianism, everybody got their both shares of scripture. I've been both. I've been on both sides. That's secondary doctrine. But so what you're saying, we need to focus on not the moderates, the new kids on the block that claim they're teaching a version of this quote unquote truth, and we ain't had truth for 1900 years. Of course, Mike Holloway, of course, BJ, of course, Desmond gonna ask questions concerning the doctrine and race and skin color and what orthodoxy been teaching for 2,000 years. Sister E, y'all just started this stuff going on right here.
But the Israelites was on the scene way before orthodoxy of the original church fathers came in. Y'all
and we're trying to hash out right now and understand what the Israelites, what they taught in Antioch, what they taught in the 5 main centers of Christianity in the early church. That's what we're trying to hash out now.
I have no problem
with DNA, were they concerned with skin color? Were they concerned with promoting I'm Israel, or is this Judaizers?
But the thing is, what Judaizers, first and foremost, but the thing is, Judaizer they use that as a trigger word for my community. That's not going to be a trigger word for me, because yet and still there are Judaizers within the faith. Come on now, let's be real.
Judaizers, we don't have no problem. I'm gonna let you talk.
Can you let me finish? Because just like when people say salvation is not in the Sabbath service, but yet and still, some people in the church say if you don't go to church, you ain't saved on Sunday. Come on now.
No, that's saying you not. They ain't say on Sunday. There you go.
No, you know something. Hold on. Let me finish my point, because we got to be real. And the thing is, you're not talking to somebody who did not come up in the church. I came up in the church, and I understand. Hold on a second.
Ain't nobody pushing no Sunday. Y'all got to go to church on Sunday. Some people just say, if you forsake the assembly of yourselves, Rick commands that.
But the thing is,
are you pushing not eating pork, pushing the Sabbath, and pushing fringes on us? Of course, we're gonna bang back, because that ain't book.
But Christmas ain't book.
Of course, and I've been saying, and we say that on this channel, and we do. And you know my position on that.
I'm not knocking you, and I'm gonna clear this up. I love some apologies. Y'all are really good. We have really been able to build. And I am happy, and I thank God for that. But while we're building, and I'm pointing out the Pastor Dow's, because Kelly pointed out the Pastor Dow's, majors coming for the camps. Are the urban apologists doing the same things when vocab does what he's doing? Because that's the true divisiveness. When he made that video of Pastor Omar, who has a Christian church, when he did that vocab, you don't
okay, all right. And he's and he did that to do what? To point out that there are pastors that's turning whole congregations over?
Yes, and he's trying that was dead wrong.
Why was that? Tell me, why was that wrong? Why was that wrong? Did he say why was that wrong?
Because if y'all don't believe it or not, if we're not Israel, that's y'all's point. But he's teaching salvation. Y'all's problem is not the teaching of salvation. Ultimately, not y'all. Some folks want us to stop calling ourselves Israel, and we're not.
Of course,
and
that's all right. And if you don't, that's okay. Dude, now let me ask you a question. I'm going to read Grace and Peace, Elder. I'm going to read Desmond's question to you. Do that make you think you better than me because I'm a Cushite in your heart? I'm asking you a question right now in front of everybody because for some reason, some of y'all Israelites come around like y'all better than me. I just heard y'all say y'all above Africans. Israel is above all. Read.
I ain't never said I was better.
The camps with the moderates, but I'm gonna ask you: do you think you better than me because you riding with that term Israel? You think you better than me?
No, I don't. If you look at the church was of mixed multitude. But did the church argue about the fact that someone calling themselves Israel and non-Israel? No. The beef came now because the thing is, did some people have the same beef with the people over in Israel that call themselves Jews? No. In fact, I've heard some people within the community say, I can't wait until the Jews come to the understanding because they realize that they put it like this. I've heard someone say this, and I'm not going to say her name. She said, I'm sick of these Israelites. I can't wait until the Jews over in Israel wake up. What?
Oh, so they got it. What's wrong with that? You said the other day you can't say them Jews over in Israel.
Listen. It became a problem when we started saying it. Because at one time, there were days that they supported the Jews in Israel. But the moment y'all melanated people started saying, what Israel? Prove it. Have the people in Israel proved it? Can they prove it through their DNA? Because they can't even go all the way back to Abraham. Have they proved it? No. But they're good. They can call themselves Jews. But the moment we call ourselves Jews, it's a problem. Y'all Negroes ain't no Jews when they have books showing that the Sephardic Jews in Portugal were called Negro. There were books in the 1700s.
I know. I got to lay into that book. I know you posted that a few months ago. I got to lay into that book. Right there. I got to lay into that book. Let me ask you a question, Sister E. Oh, you brought up something about decisiveness. I want to hear from White. Why did you post that?
Because it's a question that I had. Why did you post it? I posted because it's a question. Are we in the business of bashing or are we in the business of building? My question is to the urban apologists, and I will go back, Thomas, because I do love you, my brother. I will call out the names, but ask yourself this question. Some apologist platforms, if they did not have the Israelite community, if it be camp or moderates, what would they be teaching? And I will go back, Thomas, because again, I know you're not like that. I know BK is not like that, but I will put names in there, calling out the ones that are doing that. Because the thing is this, they're more into bashing than building.
Yeah, they celebrate Thanksgiving. He said, your time to eat. You know, y'all folk ain't getting there. Y'all folk ain't ready for another hour and a half to eat. But White, come on to the microphone. Come on to the microphone.
Yeah. What's going on, everybody? And so when I'll say that when I saw the post, I would say there was a couple of parts that sort of stuck out to me, right? One, I don't have an issue with calling people out. I think it's good to call people out, especially if people, play games. I know some people say they want to have a dialogue, but when it comes to that time, they don't show up. And so those people need to be called out. Then there's some people that say one thing in your face, and then the next minute they're saying something else. So I feel like those people need to be called out because it's divisive and it's hypocritical. But I think one of the issues that I had with the post is that we can't, like we shouldn't stoop to the same levels as people. You know what I'm saying? I think that if you have an issue, yes, address it. And if it needs to be on a public forum, at least, don't lump everyone together. Especially if you're the type of person that doesn't like to be lumped together. And so, what we see is, people lumping all Israelites together with one West, but that's not everybody is the point that I was making. And also the other issue that I had with the post was that it sort of seemed like it was the only topic that urban apologists have to talk about. But my point is that, at first I was thinking like, man, I should just post on here all the people that I talk about. Because I certainly deal with different various groups of people. And so, you know, when it comes to who I talk about, you know, yes, I'll talk about who our crew is talking about as far as Sunday seminary, and that, and you guys know that's a wide variety of people. But on my own, you know, I'm still dealing with the pieces of NOI that are out there, 5% Nation, you know, all these cats out here with, you know, strange doctrine. All right, and so, you know, to say that who would you guys talk about if it wasn't Israelites, and lumping everybody into a whole when you're just talking about a few people, it sort of says, you know, that one, like, that you guys are the center of our attention, when in a lot of cases, not a lot of us are being faithful to dealing with what's going on in our community. Now, quite a few of our communities are dealing with you know, the camp aspect of Hebrew Israelites. Not a lot of us are dealing with what we would call moderates, like you, Sister E. And so those were the major things, the lumping, and then the sort of jab saying, what would you guys talk about, that was included in the lumping. So I overall outside of that, didn't have a problem after further discussion. But I think that as people in general, not just Hebrew Israelites, not just Christians, but we have to be careful and clear that we aren't committing the same offense that we're accusing of others to commit.
Can I state, or you got something to say, bro?
No, you go ahead. Then I'll get on the other thing.
Hey.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna read.
I agree with Thomas on that. We cannot lump. And then my brother, I did just retract what I was gonna do with that post. I'm not taking the post down. I will add names, because it is become a parasite within the group of believers that, because the thing is, Sister E, what does she believe in? Do you know how long it took people to finally see, okay, she's a believer? Because I believe I'm Israel. Y'all forget that Israel is not a belief, it's a nationality that we're saying we are. And a lot of us that came into the Israelite understand that some of us that do have sound doctrine came from the church.
How many of y'all got sound doctrine? That's the main thing. BK Apologetic just said it. Desmond in here asking questions. The main thing that we running around here talking about is sound doctrine. You said, you made a point. You made a statement earlier, like the newest thing out is to bang on the Israelites and you're gonna get bread. Maybe that's why I'm not getting no bread. I'm on here hitting people and asking for love offerings and all of this stuff. I'm not getting bread. Messing around trying to side with you Israelites and trying to get people to come to the light on Israelites and just sit down and talk. But you're making it sound like folk out here getting bread talking about Israelites. Like Vocab done got rich and caked up. His book is selling a little something. Now I think you said So Real had a book. I don't know about these them other dudes. I don't even know about them. They not jumping like that to me.
I have a question.
Like, it ain't even to shoot them down, but I can't say doctrine is the main thing. If 1900 years we've been teaching one thing, these black folk just come on the set teaching something else, that's beef. Prove that that's Bible, and that's what we're doing. Everybody ain't doing this to get no cake, to bang on the Israelites to get cake. Israelites are getting more. I can open up a camp right now and get more money. I know Black history. I can open up a camp right now and get more money than what I'm doing right now on YouTube. I'm not doing nothing. I ain't got no turkey in the oven right now.
Quick question. So as a believer and far as an Israelite, do we come for the camps? Yes. Do we come for poor doctrine with communities like Pastor Down?
Yes. Hard to tell. And y'all was all mingled with them other people. Then y'all want videos with people and we don't know them people doctrine.
Who?
What you mean who?
Who are we mingled up with?
Matter of fact, you know, Urban Apologist stepped it up when we seen all of y'all over there, Ron Dalton, all of y'all, the same people y'all beefing with. Pastor Kelly was over there. What was Ron over there? Shout out to Ron. Was Ron over there? A few of y'all over there. Straightway pastor pulling up in the big body. All of y'all was over there at that conference just now. Y'all talking about us. Y'all just had a conference. Hebrew Man of the Year.
The only person
y'all done had all of that. And y'all are all blending together. We don't even know the doctrine.
quick question. But the thing is, when we went, not half of us did not go because we did not uphold
I
it.
know Deborah
And
and I heard
publicly,
Pastor Deborah
majors, majors didn't go. And then when you understand why Richardson went to baptize people, to teach people. See, what y'all want us to do is not to totally separate ourselves when we need to go in and minister. Y'all can't minister to the camps like us. Y'all can't minister to the moderates that are walking in disbelief like us. We can't separate. We are commissioned to teach truth.
All right, now I got a question right now. I got a question right now, Jeff. Before I move on, I'm gonna read some comments. I know it's Thanksgiving, some folk got to get out of here. Jeff, is this it? Mace came on last night. Pastor Major came on last night. We asked a few questions. We were talking. Sister E woke up violent, want to blow shots. I do that. I'm from the hood. I know how it is. Well, let me go. And if you want to confess in front of everybody right now, Sister E, you felt like licking shots and you licked shots, yes or no, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. That's what did you do that? Did you wake up and lick shots by making that post? Should we go our separate ways? Jeff, can we ever pray with Israel? Can we ever have Bible study with Israel? Or are they going to always throw nationality in our face? Is this thing working that we're doing right here on Berean TV, trying to say we got to sit down and talk, or it's not working because there's some of us on this side, we riding with the cross and the kingdom and what the king told us to do. And she said she got to teach Israel. Come on,
okay,
Jeff.
well, Brother Berean, as you know, if it wasn't for Sister E being on Berean TV, a lot of this dialogue would be totally different. Well, probably all the dialogue would be totally different. And what I mean by that is simply this. She has helped us understand her perspective and her faith. And it wasn't easy for her to do. It wasn't easy for us to understand. And through her helping us understand from her faith as a Hebrew, it allowed us to create a certain type of dialogue that is productive. Sister E and the Sunday Seminary group, we have some type of Bible study throughout the entire week. It may not be an official sitting on an official conversation, but we are constantly having a type of Bible study. Now, I can zoom in a little bit more and say this, that when it comes to the Hebrew Israelites as entirety, I believe that we're still evolving and we're trying to find a suitable ground when it comes to them being here, because even though they're not a new per se belief system, it's new to a lot of us, because in previous generations, we never heard of them. I personally haven't heard of them until 20 years ago. And they have been around long before that. So, and the point I'm making is, I'm talking about here in America. And what I'm saying on that is, we have to create more dialogue. We have to find more common ground, more so than we have to find more contradicting grounds.
You think dialogue is working? I done got Faithful on here.
I know dialogue.
On here. I done had Des on here. I done had Mace on here. Shout out to Ron Shields. We were talking about you last night. I was hitting them last night. I'm having beef with Major and Mace and them. And Ron, we're not sure about your doctrine, as opposed to me being able to bring you on to ask you your doctrine. People just hit me with other stuff. You don't believe the Bible. You saw them on Sunday. I stay got people hitting me. One thing I can say, no matter who's out there, I stay getting emails and stuff. And now, is it wrong? Some people would say it's wrong. Some people say talking is good. But at the same time, by bringing certain people on, I've been having beef, because once you bring somebody on and you just talk, other Bible thumpers want to come and go to other people and Berean this and Berean that. And it's too much beef. I'm not getting no bread for this. It's too much beef. But I said I want to do what's on my heart. Listen, God had opened up my heart to Sister E, to Major. We got to do this. But I'm not going to lie, this is beef. This is plenty beef. People out here talking. They don't like you Israelites, and y'all ain't clear on a lot of stuff. Plain and simple, Sister E. I'm going to keep it 100. Forget them other people. And you believe the Son is eternal. Major believe the Son is eternal, but people just like, man, they are not of us. They are of another spirit, period. And believe, but Berean, you rocking with them, God is going to tear you down, toss you around them, and it ain't the gospel that they preaching, period. I'm going to tell you, I ain't going to say that. I'm going to tell y'all what them folk over there saying. That's what they feel in their heart, and they got scripture all throughout the book. to show
And but the thing is, we got scripture as well. You got apologists sit down.
So we all banging out with scripture. That's all it comes down to.
Listen to it, because the thing is, you got some apologists that don't want to sit down with people like Kelly, because we have people in our community that's bringing scripture to the table, but their voices are being muted because
they said sit down with Kelly for what? They said sit down with Kelly for what? Kelly will throw some shots and then Kelly will block you. That's what they saying. Y'all don't want to hear what they say.
But you want to know why he blocking people? He blocked people because they harass him in his posts. They literally, I've seen the harassment coming from you all sides sometimes. Y'all sometimes act like the camps. And I've seen it.
Y'all who say names. I've seen names. Say names.
We're going to talk about faithful to God. We're going to talk about vocab. We're going to talk about Sister Cherry. We're going to talk about people like Lasagna. We're going to talk about groups within different groups, as far as individuals, that when we make comments, they come for us and make comments and call us heretics.
But now, wait a minute. Now the people.
Listen, I've been called Antichrist. I've been called that I am preaching something against Christ. And when everything that I have ever said has been nothing but Christ. And I can call more people's names out, but I don't have rights to call their names out because I don't want to make people upset, because again, we got to get permission before we start calling a lot of people's names out because they're not mainstream. But I'm talking about what's mainstream right now. Has Vocab sat down with a Kelly and talked to him? No.
Talk to Kelly for what?
But he's
talking. Why Vocab got to talk to Kelly? And Vocab specializes in one way.
He don't specialize in one West. He did a video on Kelly.
He did a video on Kelly?
He did a video on Kelly.
Send me that video. I'll call Vocab.
I'll send the video. Vocab did something. He had Kelly and Pastor Omar and other people. He said these are the people right around the time we was talking about infiltrating the church. He had to come back and apologize to Pastor Omar because he didn't do his due diligence to figure out what Omar taught, because he put Omar in his video because it was good for business. And I'm talking about vocab.
Good for business. Wait a minute. That's his
money. That's his money.
All right, White. Somebody else want to say something? I'm gonna read some of these comments right here. White.
Well, Baran, to finish up on what I was saying is, I believe we're getting somewhere in conversation. Now you got to realize, we know some of the struggles we have with creating dialogue with Sister E at times. So some of the other Hebrew Israelites is just even more difficult in conversation. Now, I believe that we still have made a lot of progress. Sister E has been
what progress? What progress?
Difficult.
Difficult. Oh yeah.
No, I'm difficult because me being difficult is because I refuse to back down. Difficult is not compromising. I'm not compromising. I'm compromising what building where I'm letting you know what I believe in. But I've had people within our community to say, when I first came out with this, when I first said I was Israel, I knew the backlash that was coming. I had certain people within our own community that would say, sister, can you just stop saying you Israel? You believe everything else. If you would just stop, and I'm not. That's why I'm difficult.
Okay, Why you not? Why? Because you must think in your heart that got something to do with heaven. That got something to do with your eternal salvation.
But the thing is, let's talk about the Jews. Let's stop them from saying that they're the chosen people. I bet y'all won't do that. I bet you they won't.
Let's leave them white folk alone. Let's leave them white folk alone right there.
Let's be real, though. Let's be real. They send money to Israel. They take care of Israel. They say God is, the people over in Israel are the apple of God's eye. They say that when we're talking about the evangelicals. They the apple of God's eye. And y'all can't say they don't say that. So if we all about just unified and being just one body of believers and there is no chosen, say the same thing. The evangelists ain't finna go against the Jews over in Israel. They're not. But if I spoke against Israel, they say, oh, wait a minute. You speaking against the apple of God's eye. So we're not the apple of God's eye? That's what you're saying?
We got to vote on Sister E. I want y'all in here to help me. We got to vote on Sister E. White, you want to say something?
Nah, it's getting a little loud where I am, but again, I don't have an issue with pulling out, and dealing with people who need. But I would say overall, me personally, I don't throw jabs. You know what I'm saying? I don't, and I try to make sure that if I'm attempt to at least address somebody, that I'll address. because I don't know. I feel like sometimes like it's much easier to throw a jab than it is to say, yo, I got a problem with you and what you're saying. And I struggle with that sometimes as well. But I would say like if I feel like I'm going to throw a jab, then I may hold on to it until, you know, I can actually be a little more confident to just say it to you. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm going to jab, let me take that back. I've jabbed a few times, but if I am going to jab, I'm going to jab with accuracy, and I'm going to say your name. And so, like, I think that we at least have to be open to that in the spirit of not lumping everybody together. That's all I got.
Disagree. We can disagree. Who was that in the chat? We can disagree respectably. Yes, we can disagree respectably.
And that's key.
People involved, and no, you can't speak right now if you don't mind, because Israel took over the whole church. They done took over the internet. They done took over Berean TV. Can I talk for a minute? Or I can't
I'm sorry.
talk? No. Maybe I can't talk.
I'm sorry. I love
above
you,
everybody. Y'all above us.
Berean, I love you.
Y'all everything above us. We nothing.
Y'all are, I love you. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
No, she don't get on the phone with her people and them and talk about us right now.
No, I don't. We love you, Berean.
Shout out Pastor Majors. I see you in here. It's hard to talk. Yolanda, I did not mute her. I don't want to hear nothing from Yolanda. I didn't mute her. She's in here. We're just talking. Can this thing work out, Yolanda? What we're trying to do, we're going to have differences. On the low, I think Sister E thinks she's better than me because she is Israel and I'm a Cushite. I think she thinks she's better than me. And I heard some of them Israelites make comments about us stinking Africans. I'm African. I'm gonna tell y'all right there, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let these folks start giving you this book and try to make you be ashamed of what God done made you. Come on, Sister E. Now you got the flow. You see how I said that, Major? You see how I gave her that right there? Come on, Sister E.
I have a question though, because Desmond is saying it's all right to disagree. I have a question. All these Israelite conferences, because I know Desmond was a part of a conference, and I don't want to say it was solely about Israelite and the poor doctrine, but I know they came up. Have you all ever thought about, hey, let's have a bridge conference. Let's have a conversation amongst the communities. No, that's not good for business. If y'all have a conference and invite Majors and Kelly and all of us, and we sit down and we be real with what we believe in, would y'all still receive us?
Desmond had Israelites in the church down there.
Let me tell you what Israelites they go get. They go get the weakest ones. They don't get the ones.
Them camp dudes know Bible. Don't say weak. You know what the problem is? I'm gonna tell you, Yolanda. Let me see who in here. I'm gonna tell you, BK apologist. I'm gonna let her finish, but I feel like doing some talking right now, and I'm gonna cut off. BK apologist, I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. She want Major and them to get shine. She want Kelly and the moderates to get shine to show them that everybody ain't racist like the camps. Her job is to push the moderates. Damon Richardson said 2 years ago, he mentioned Divine Prospect and them other ones. He said, they the most dangerous. We don't know what they believe. That's where the beef came out. I'm gonna bring it back up. It happened 2 years ago. People say, why you said names? Why you did this? They backed off. Divine came and met them down there. I forget the other pastor name down there in Georgia. And he pulled up and, they chatted a little bit. He got there before they even had the thing and all of that other stuff. But people, now she wanted moderates to get attention. Now you moderates got attention. Now you beefing. You talk about Omar, you talk about Kelly, you talk about Major. Now say what y'all want to say. What you want to say? You want to go preach at Epiphany Church? Tell me what you want.
I don't want to preach it. I don't want to preach at nobody's church. I'm not a preacher first, but I would like to have true dialogue. If we stand on these camps, let's deal with the camps. But if y'all want to talk about true doctrine, pull individuals in. I have a question. If we invited Kelly, if we invited Ron Shields, you would get so much backlash because Ron Shields is on your panel, and that's not.
I already got pride. That's what I'm saying. I'm having prayer. And he asked, and one thing, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100. I even hit Mace. I said, I tell you, Ron asked, and one thing I can say, Ron even hit the PayPal. I'm gonna tell y'all all the business. Ron done donated 2 times, 1 or 2 or 3 times or something. I'm like, yo, Ron done donated, but there's so much beef. Everybody, Mace hit me last night after he get off. I'm hitting him. I'm saying, yo, Ron did, ask to come on and da-da-da-da-da, but I'm already having so much beef. You know what's going on. There's so much stuff going on. I can't even get him on. And he done looked out. Major, stay looking out. Those are my peeps. That's how I'm rocking with Major. He stay looking out. So now this is problem. Now this is a problem because some Christians might take that and go run with it and and all of this other stuff. But this is just what it is. Sometimes people don't need to know everything, but then sometimes there's some stuff that's going on that people gotta get. Politics are involved in this thing too, because it's pressure and this and that. People are telling me, Berean, if you ain't had Sister E, if you wasn't talking about that Israel stuff, you'd be getting more engagements. You'd get engagements. You'll go to conference, you're doing this and that, but everybody from the gate, Berean, you got to lean towards them Israelites. The church don't want Israel, and it's okay. Why the church got to have Israel, Yolanda? Why the church got that? That's a fair question. I don't even want Sister E to answer that. BK, the church ain't got to have Israel. Am I wrong for saying that? Y'all come and tell me right now before y'all go start emailing Mason, all of them. Berean said this person named running the Sister Cherry, running the vocab and everybody. Listen, I'm not thinking about that. Sometimes maybe the church don't need Israel and Israel don't need the church. Maybe we need to go our separate ways. If you're moderate, if you believe that the Son is eternal, it's good, but we still can't pray together. We prayed last night. Major prayed last night. I felt the Holy Ghost, but I don't know because he don't eat pork. He don't eat pork. And so everybody's trying to act like y'all connect the pork in the Sabbath with salvation. Come on, Jeff. You want to say something? I don't even.
Well, the question is, can we all get along?
That's
I
the
believe
question. It's looking like
I believe we can. I don't know if we can all get along, but we can all come to a certain type of understanding. We can agree to disagree. Even if we establish that, it may be where there may be certain beliefs that we can't agree on, that we may declare that is not doctrine that we can ever live by. It may be that in such a way. I'm okay with that, as long as there is an understanding that we can agree to disagree. I can live with that. I believe
do we think that we're the keepers of, do you think that Christian apologists, and this is for Sister E right now, Sister, because I don't know, because Sister E, she might got an, you know, meant for when they keep an attitude, they're gonna keep it. Me and Sister E may not even talk no more after this. So I'm gonna ask you a question right now.
Can I answer that for?
Wait a minute, Sister E, do you think for some reason that urban apologists feels that they're the keepers, they're the holders of the seal and they have the key and the door of salvation to Israel and say who saved and who saved, who God like and who God don't like? You feel we're controlling that between y'all, the camps, the moderates, and everybody that call themselves Israel? That's a question for you, Sister E, if you even still talking to me.
I'm still talking to you. I'm not mad at you. The thing is, I'm still going to walk in love with you, my brother. And everything that I do, I have to be very careful in what I do on my Facebook page, because I know that ultimately they're going to come and attack me, but that's not fair. Because even if I work with you, I should be able to have, hold on a second, let me say something.
I want you to read look at Days of Noah. Okay. Look at what Days of Noah said, white.
But the thing is, I should be able to still speak my opinion. And that's not fair, because again, just like y'all not y'all, but some people are trying to make sure that I watch the things that I say. And I'm not saying y'all, but people are not catching Faithful to God. Faithful to God did what he did to Kelly. He still hasn't sat down and talked to Kelly. The guy said in the conversation, we can have a private conversation, but we can't go on Let's Talk with Sister E. Why can't we go on Let's Talk with Sister E? Because you did it on your platform. See, y'all, some folks in the community like to throw a rock and hide their hand. And if y'all want us to call out heretics, y'all need to call out y'all people that are creating division. We will never truly have a conversation at the table, because you have people that are going to ultimately use that. Because we are, as a community, even have to be careful of the videos that y'all come out with. Because the thing is, certain people, y'all folks don't chop it up. I have to watch the things that come out of my mouth, because they're going to chop it up. Instead of listening to the whole thing that we're saying, they're going to find pieces. And that's not fair to us. We'll never build if that's the case. Me, Majors, Kelly, all of us want to talk. But while we're talking, we're not going to dilute who we are. As long as we dilute who we are, everybody's good. But the moment I say that I believe in the feast days and they're important, based off of 1 Corinthians chapter 5, oh, she's a heretic. She tried to make us follow through the feast days. What about the holidays we follow? Are they biblical? No. But I bet you if I say I don't believe in Christmas, I'm finna be called a heretic. So,
all right. You heard what Sister E said. Jeffrey David said the Bible says, "Come now, let us reason together." The urban apologist says, "Listen to what I tell you." Yes, I have to agree with that. Most urban apologists are not going to sit down. They're going to preach to you and they're going to declare their understanding of the truth, and this is it, and that's what it is. That could be a problem. That could be a problem. I can't lie. That's what it is. Most of the time we just, especially when I was kind of steep into it, we just going to decree and declare and just tell y'all what this is. This is what it's been. We've been the keepers of this, and this is how we're going to ride out. We're concerned with doctrines, and we got to guard people's souls, especially for anything new. And there's many people that's arguing that that's new. That's not new. Is it fair that we don't have more moderates on the platform? You heard it from the other brother that he said moderates are more dangerous because, and that's what people feel. Moderates have me deceived. I can't be deceived by Captain, what you call them over there. But Sister E has deceived me and jumped on a Sunday seminary and jumped on the panel with Verena. We've accepted her like Jesus loves her. And we know that can't be true because she's keeping the Sabbath. Talking about she been stop eating pork. Man, I'm going to get a ham sandwich right now. Come on, White, come to the microphone.
Can y'all see my face?
You breaking up.
I mean, my face. All right, so see, you were talking about, the conversation that was supposed to go down with Faithful and Kelly. And I'm just going to say, Faithful, if you watch this, back for that if you felt, if you decided you didn't want to come through. And I think that needs to be said. If you agree that you would sit down and talk with somebody, but you didn't, your street card needs to be revoked. You whack for that.
But then he wants to do it privately. And let's call it, he wants to do it privately. How are you going to do something privately when you publicly made a spectacle out of this man? When you do things, the word of God says, when you do things publicly, you need to make a public apology. So
I'm not too sure about what was going on with that right there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Thomas. Finish what you're saying. I apologize, brother, for hopping in.
No, it's the beat. I ain't think about no ham today. Go ahead. Will you finish, White? This thing is rough. It's rough to, that's like when some people say, well, I don't even deal with religious talk, Bible talk, and all of that stuff, because it's hard to, people that are ordained, people that's involved in ministry, Des and all of them, BK apologists, all them people that's doing what they do, they just want to make sure when they stand before the king, they want to make sure that from their understanding that they preach the kingdom, they declared the kingdom, and they did what they believe the Great Commission has commanded us to do as the church. Is there a shifting? Is God doing something with Israel in this day? They don't even care about that. All they know is they want to make sure that they're doing what they're, from their understanding, they're protecting, and or because you're ordained, because you're installed, and they're protecting the truth of this message. Give it and deliver it and teach it to faithful men that they may teach other. And this is a chain coming down. We just want to make sure we're following the chain. And people think dialogue could be planting seeds. Berean, you can have Sister E on there. She can say things that a baby Christian will hear, and it'll plant some seeds in them. Therefore, God is going to charge you for that. So we think you're not moving in wisdom by having certain people on your platform. And statements like that. Anybody else want to go before I read some of this? I know it's time for y'all to pray and eat. No, y'all don't eat till 6 o'clock. Some of y'all say 3 o'clock, and then y'all just getting dressed, leaving the house, and y'all drive for 2 hours. Come on, White. Harris.
No, I actually just finished breakfast, so it's gonna be a while before I get started again.
Okay.
Look at White with big old plate. Anyway,
he eating already? Okay, my bad, White.
Yeah, he eating already. I think that we need to continue to make all efforts to create dialogue with the Hebrew Israelites.
Why?
Because we still are in the business of converting. We still are the believers of the Most High God. We are followers of Jesus Christ. We have to. That's part of what we do. And most important it's really important for us to live it out more than anything else. We have to live it out. If we're not living out a just way of society, and at home, then we're still doing a disjustice to anyone that we have in contact with. So I just say we still have to continue to push dialogue because it's necessary for them to have a better understanding of us. You got to remember this. A lot of them have walked away from what we call church, the building that we go into. A lot of them have walked away from not so much as the belief, but from the church. And we are at fault as a church overall, we are at fault in a lot of ways when it comes to that, because of the character that we displayed in the sanctuary. And so there are a lot of corrections that need to take place, not just with them, but in our household as far as the sanctuary is concerned. So yeah, it's more dialogue that needs to be created. It's a lot of things that we need to do as far as the sanctuary, as far as correcting ourselves as well, because we can always be critical of another belief system, but are we being critical of ourselves in the same aspect? What is it that we're doing to make sure that we are lined up with God? So as we are looking around and seeing things that may not be all just and upright, are we looking at it from a lens where we can see just as clear through one side as well as we can through the other? Or are we just trying to see things the way we think they ought to look?
For the most part, we're trying to see stuff the way that we want to see it. 332 said, I don't mind if Hebrew Israelites practice traditions as long as they don't push it on others. I think we can go a little further. We can go, I was looking at what Yolanda was saying too, to Sister E in that message. Maybe you can read that there a little bit up. I think it's above Deborah's comment. She said, I think when it comes to that, I think a lot of times we're trying to say, if the feast all point to Christ and Christ then came and left and sitting at the right hand of the Father, we don't need to celebrate the feast. So it's,
but I'm sorry.
Well, I can't talk.
You can talk. You can talk. Mute me. Go ahead and mute me. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm muting myself.
No, I ain't gonna even mute you. Yolanda in here now, so I'm trying to back up off of that because they'll turn into a feminist thing, and they be had a whole other channel messing around Berean oppressing the people. But could it be that we often say, I don't want them to make us wear fringes? Could it be maybe we're trying to force them not to blow that show forward? We're trying to force them not to keep that Passover. Christ is our Passover. Why major them doing that? Instead of getting them on here, I'll just bang and do some other stuff. And for the most part, apologists could be trying to force that because we don't want them to keep them feast, because them feasts all point to Christ, and Christ then came and did his work. At least the first part of his work, and he shall return again. But at the same time, we're going to argue down that white man Christmas tree, because the Christmas tree come from Europe. That pine tree come from Europe. We're going to argue that white man Christmas tree is not pagan. I shouldn't have said that part right there. That wasn't no good. I shouldn't have said that part right there. Strike that.
Here's Yolanda.
Before you say anything real quick, I want to address that one question. Realize that we've said this, and I'm constantly saying this. When we do the feast days, when we do things of Sabbath, we're doing this in remembrance of him, because Christ even said, do these things in remembrance of me. And he wasn't talking about Holy Communion, but he was talking about when we do these feast days, we're not doing them based off of the Old Testament. We're doing this in remembrance to him. I went to a Passover in an Israelite community. Actually, that was my first time this year. We didn't do anything for us Old Covenant. We did everything in remembrance of Christ.
Wait a minute. Desmond here, BK apologist in here. Wait a minute.
He hasn't done.
Wait a minute. Now I'm gonna mute her for a minute. BK apologist, Desmond, hold on to sister, what you call a comment. BK apologist, Desmond, Yolanda, who else up in here? Where Rose at? Who else is up in here right here? Miss B. When he said, do these things in remembrance of me, he said that was what he was talking about doing. When he said, do these things in remembrance of me, what he was talking about. Because I could be confused. All right, go ahead. Somebody else finish up. I'm trying to read that answer right there. That's a question. When he say, do these things in remembrance of me, what was he talking about in its context? He was telling us to practice what Israel practiced?
Okay, so Yolanda says we need to dialogue with all believers and those in the world. The word says we are the body of the church, and the building is only the place where we assemble. Deborah Stewart says to seek the Father's approval for its mission and the final fulfillment of the 4 mandatory feasts in the Jerusalem and around the temple ground was fulfilled during the Pentecost. Andre Randall, I got a question for Sister E. Can I eat some pig ears and still get to heaven?
That's a good question. I'm gonna let her answer that. Thank you, Vaughn.
I have a question. So
hold on, we appreciate you in the super chat. The law is not done away with. Psalms 119. Now people somebody down with the church, automatically we're gonna say, who was the law given to? Is the law for the whole planet? And then it's going to go into salvation. That's how come doctrine is good to talk about certain things. Go ahead, Sister E. And another thing, should we vote on Sister E? I want to ask everybody in here. I know what Desmond's and Bacon, that's that thing I hate. Sister E came in here and love and friending everybody. So many people in here will say, Jeff David, I want other people. Everybody that has ever seen Sister E on here, should we vote her away? Johnson, should we do away with Sister E? Or this is just a misunderstanding? Come on, Sister, you got the floor.
When you look at the law, and we're talking about the old covenant law, there were certain things. I'm going to break it down. Let me break it down. There are certain things that we did that was death. When Christ came away, he did away with the sin of death through death. The sin and death. There were certain things in the law that caused us to be stoned to death, but there were certain things in the law that we considered that person to be unclean. Pork is not tied to death. I mean, I ain't gonna say death, because if you keep eating pork, it's not good. But I consider that as being unclean. Is that salvation? No, I've never said that that's salvation. But is it unclean? Yes. And I'm not gonna say that pork is not clean. It is an unclean animal, and it is a filthy animal, and it's a filthy beast. When you look at the origin of the pig was meant to clean. It was created to clean. They eat trash. They're trash eaters. But if you choose to eat it, that's on you. But it's unclean to you. But it has nothing to do. I don't believe that it has anything to do with salvation.
BK Apologist said, don't vote on Sister E. That's not nice. Okay, BK, I'm going to listen to you on that.
And I will say this. BK says something, and BK Apologist, I know you're not one of those that attack us. And I will say there are individuals within the apologetic community that do not attack us. But my question is, those that don't attack us, are you addressing your brethren that attack us with broad statements and constantly lump us together? We can't just attack the camps and then let the urban apologetic community get away with on a free card to say you're good. Keep attacking them.
Everybody else saying leave Sister Grace of Peace. Richardson said leave Sister E alone. Everybody saying leave Sister E alone. Sister E is good. Ross said I knew she was. I knew it. Then we came get rid of her. Now she done came. Now we stuck with her, White. Now we stuck with her. All right, don't try. All right, so you're saying, for the record, pork ain't got nothing to do with salvation, as your position that you hold.
God, right? Yes, because if that's the case, my mom and daddy gone. They going to hell.
All right.
No, because I tell one thing. I said my mom will eat because she doesn't walk in what I believe in. My mom doesn't believe in. I mean, she understands, and I've had conversations with her about it. And her number one thing is, do you believe upon Jesus Christ? That woman's saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Spirit. I done seen that lady pray me through a lot of things. So because she eat a pork chop sandwich, her soul ain't damn to hell. God no.
But listen to what Pastor Major say. Well, I can't even be mad at that because that's Bible. I can't say I don't like it. Let me just shut up. Pastor Major said, ain't no Israelite eating no pork nowhere in the New Testament. True or false statement? You heard that, Deborah? And I know Deborah probably eating them pig ears and all that stuff y'all got over there. Where's she in Ireland? Wherever you're at, Deborah, I know y'all eating pork ear, pig ear, and pigtail and all of that stuff. But ain't no Israelite. Deborah, you're not an Israelite, are you? Eating no pork in the New Testament. Is that a true statement? Is that a true statement or is that a false statement? Hebrew Christians, everybody can get the smoke, Sister E. That's what these apologists say. Jeff Davis said people try to use faulty topics to determine if pork is wrong. The Bible tells you what is sin. That's correct. That's correct. Anybody else? You want to read some of this, Jeff? I might have to get some coffee messing around with y'all. Y'all got my
at Berean TV, Deborah Stewart says, praise Jesus to be stuck with her. You could.
Oh yeah, all right. That's how come I know she an agent.
She said you could have done way worse.
Yeah, I can't lie.
She started laughing. You could have had a real undercover sister in your team.
That's true. You want to say something? I know you get out of here, White. You want to say something? You want to say something to them before Sister before you?
Don't y'all miss Bacon?
Bacon.
I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about Thomas. I do want to publicly say this, Thomas. If I offended you, my brother, I apologize. And you know I love you with the love of God. You're like my brother from another mother. And I praise God every day that I've met people like you. So if I've offended you with that post, I apologize. It wasn't directed towards you, and I am willing to go back to add the names of the individuals that I'm really targeting. Because again, I've been able to build with some good people, and you're one of them. And Berean as well, even though he liked to mute me. So I do want to publicly apologize if you've been offended by my post, because it was never directed to people like you.
Right.
Since Yolanda them started saying that 2-3 days ago, how many times I post you the last 2 days? How many times I muted you in the last 2 days?
Thank you, Yolanda. Thank you, Yolanda, because he stopped because of you.
You like
He been
that.
nice.
But when it comes
I wish I had a mute button. Let me respond.
We gotta try to the dialogue and stuff is really rough right there. We gotta try to do it. And that's another thing that I hate, Yolanda. She's gonna come on and she's gonna do with the books. Like, I apologize. It's no matter all we talking right now. It's some people names that were said they ain't finna apologize. They don't think they wrong. And even if they think, because that's what make the writ funny. If they think you was offended, they don't care about that because they think they're doing a higher truth. They got a higher truth. Sometimes you got to bow even if you feel you're right. In love, it's good to bow and be like, yo, if I offended you, I'm sorry. And I often would get on here and tell people, if I offended y'all, I'm sorry because I'm ignorant with it to another level. I like the fact I'm not a pastor, so I can say I got more freedom to say stuff, but at the same time, the spirit will check you if you're a believer. If I offended anybody, forgive me. We're gonna try to keep Sister E around. This is just one of them. We might have hit a spot in the road, a little pothole, but we're gonna keep it moving. Ain't no.
There's some people in here that really love Sister E too. I'm looking at some of the comments.
Oh no, Sister E, no, Sister E get love. She get a lot of love.
Yeah, there's quite a few people in here that love her. I see this. This is good.
Thank y'all. I love y'all too. I do love y'all too.
And I just want to say real quick,
y'all know the Bible.
Can I get a word in?
Thomas need a mute button.
Can I get a word in? Can I get a word in, Berean?
I thought you was leaving. You got your bacon, Yolanda. He got his bacon. When Mike show? Get on out of here with your bacon.
Listen, I ain't had no bacon. I ain't bacon in a while, but I did have some fried chicken. I don't usually eat fried foods, but every now and then you got to do it. But yeah, so Sister, I appreciate that because I definitely was, but I was with the understanding that I knew that you were taking a shot at somebody, and it wasn't me, but at the same time, how it can be perceived for others. And so I would say that although not totally offended because of how my other brothers and sisters that think like me could potentially take it. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess my overall thing is, again, if you take jabs, hit the person you intended to hit. But overall, I would say that, no love lost on my side. Like I said, I guess for me, I'm just trying to bring something to your attention of the potential way that it could be taken on behalf of a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was for me.
That was good. And he's always looking at the broader picture. That's why everybody we got him around for a reason. Shout out to Sister, I ain't see Sister Foster in a minute. We're probably just said I ain't see in a minute. But Sister E, what would you like to, what we said, we ain't gonna play with y'all with no kids gloves. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? We got Mace on here. I called Mace came on talking about Shaka. I made sure. Shout out to Dr. Aaron, but Dr. Aaron want to start talking about seminary and won't start talking about the theory on Genesis. I'm like, nah, that ain't what we got going on right now. We got Dr. E on here. We're going to ask him certain things concerning that because that's what we discuss a lot. What would you like to see, Sister E? What would you
as we point out error within our community, we got to also as well call out error within the body of believers called the Christian church. People love to say the Christian church been here for centuries, but the Israelites was here before the church. And the thing is, a lot of things that we're doing far as tradition has nothing to do with the Bible. But the thing is, they want us to call out error, but they will not call out that error.
Whatever. You want more people to just ignorantly holler about the Christmas tree. Desmond brought a point out earlier. Can you speak to Desmond's point before we get out of here? I don't know if he's speaking or not, but his point was good. Desmond said, listen, Desmond said there's a lot of people, including you moderates like you, that could be some of that stuff leaking out of you right now and feel that the whole Christian movement is pagan. Let me see if Desmond's still in here.
I have a question. So is there remnants of paganism within the church? And that's something to see. People don't.
Right now, Let's move on to another subject. Did y'all see that lady that was on YouTube?
Wait a minute, Brother Berea. You said you told Yolanda you wasn't gonna do that.
Oh, dang. I told you. Wait a minute. I see two Sister E's on.
Yeah. She's finna pull a whammy on you.
All right. Let me. I'm sorry, Sister E. Go ahead. You were cut off accidentally.
That wasn't no accident. But what I'm saying is this: I'm not saying that the whole belief system, because the original church was a mixture and it was a mixed multitude of Gentiles and Jews or Israelites, and that was the body of believers, and that's the church. But as time progressed, different cultures brought in their paganistic ways and thought patterns, and it came in and it actually infiltrated the church. Is there paganism in the church? Yes. I will sit here and be a fool not to say it isn't. It is some form, and I'm not saying paganism far as you're believing in another God, but some of their practices have been brought into the church. Now, am I saying that people are in the church are going to hell? No, because you got to believe upon Jesus Christ, but we got to also call out that there are some errors within Christendom that we're practicing because we've been doing it for 2,000 years. Doesn't make it right. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying that the Israelites ain't 100%. I bang on them as well. Majors does as well. All of us coming for the poor doctrine within the Israelite community, because I try not to just lump all camps together, because even within camps, I pray that God delivers some of them brothers. But within poor doctrine within our community, we address that. But at the same time, y'all hold the belief, the practices and the traditions in the Christian church as if it's Bible, and some of it ain't. And people get in their feelings when we say that, but it's true. Is Christmas in the Bible? Is Christmas tree in the Bible? No.
Let me.
Okay, go on mute me. I know.
Enough is enough, man. I ain't gonna take for so much.
Come
on, Brandon. Come on and say something, Brandon. Let me read some of these comments right here. What's that? Rodney said, if you're celebrating Christmas and Easter, you're dealing with. Now, let's just skip that right there. Come on, Brandon. Come on and say something here, Brandon. They going on. They doing too much right now. It's a holiday today, and she bringing up paganism. Somebody in here typing paganism, and there's a lot of us that's arguing that it's not pagan at all and don't really have pagan origins. Y'all heard that? Y'all want some Christians talking about that? Because one thing I can say, Christians gonna defend that tree. Or they're gonna defend some stuff now.
Well, I ain't defending no tree. So nah.
Go ahead. I'm gonna read. Let me read some more of this here.
I don't have defense for the tree. I don't have defense for it in a way where I want to offend Christians or Israel. Either way, I just know that we just have to deal with things differently. When you get more information and you get more learning, we can't just say we're going to keep traditions for tradition's sake, because Scripture says your traditions have made the word of God non effect. So we have to, the sword that's swinging, like you say, Berean, it's swinging all different directions. So it's not swinging at Christians, it's swinging at Israel, it's swinging at Christians, Israel, it's swinging at everybody. And we just have to get our house in order and really focus on what this book says, and what's in the book. And we got to give up traditions. We have to give up things for the sake of just trying to be closer to the Lord and trying to be fair. Because a lot of it is foolishness, man. A lot of it is foolishness, and we just got to be calm and learn from each other and respect each other and hold the book up in high esteem, and not hold up personalities, not hold up doctrines that are not in the book. Because we all come out of what you want to call a camp. Every church, every setting, Baptist, non-denominational, those are all settings and camps and sects. So we got to hold the book up now in a high regard, not our opinions. If we say it is what it is, we got to start holding that thing up above anything else.
All right, Jeff, you want to say something? Good point he brought out. If it's gonna swing, it's gonna swing all the way. One thing I can say, the church may not like it, but The church got a lot of people. I mean, the camps got a lot of people, just Israel in general, people studying and getting online and saying stuff, got people reevaluating that tithe and prayer and a lot of stuff. You know, people may get mad, but and you notice you got to be careful when you're dealing with apologists or people. You got to see if they're answering your question or they're banging and taking it in another place. So they start talking about cherry. If you talking, if you Israel, and I don't even want to give Israel nothing. If you talking though, I just got to share truth. If somebody's talking and they're bringing up the tithe and this and that, and then they start jumping to cherry was the first one to come and start declaring that we were, and they start doing that. That's part of the game. I'm gonna show y'all some words. I'm gonna give y'all. I shouldn't even be doing this. I shouldn't do it, but it's just gonna get them more mad. But whatever way this thing is gonna swing, it's gonna swing. And even though we've been on the quote unquote top for a long time, we gotta reevaluate some stuff. I agree with that. I'm gonna read some comments. Pastor Major, that's all we want. Pastor Major said he ain't Israel no more. That's all we want. Just deny it. Just deny it and come to Jesus. That's all we want. Sister E, Pastor Major said he gonna put down Israel. The pressure's too much for him. That's all we've been trying to get y'all to do. Come on, Jeff. I'm gonna read some of this before we get up out of here.
Majors ain't putting down no Israel.
It sounds good right now. It sounds good right now. You follow his lead. Let me hit him in the thing.
Yeah.
Back down from that.
BK, you gotta. Oh man, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story right there. Yo, BK don't even know what's going on. BK just said, "Call me ASAP." He said, "Hit me right now." You don't know so long. Come on, I'm sorry. Wait,
yeah. So Jeff. So here's what I get out of all this conversation. It seems to me that the brothers and sisters that's in the sanctuary that goes to church on a regular basis need to get their house in order before they actually try to attempt to get someone else's house in order. Because if you ain't got your stuff together, how you gonna go and try to tell somebody else what they doing right or wrong? I think that's an irrelevant conversation. I think your focus ought to be as to what's going on in your sanctuary that don't line up with Christ. Because if you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, in your daily walk and in your sanctuary that you go to worship, how are you going to try to tell somebody that's standing on the sidewalk on what they trying to do as far as recruit individuals in their faith? I think that's a kind of a somewhat of a disrespect in some ways, because we're constantly trying to evaluate somebody else's walk, but we're not scaling ours. Something's wrong with that picture. So that's my recommendation. Let's get your house in order, church. You know, for those that go to church every Sunday and Wednesdays and do their Sunday school, their Bible studies and the choir rehearsals and all these things and pastor anniversaries and whatever else that you engage yourself with. Let's get yourself together in that. Let's see if all the things that you're doing whenever you attend church and outside of church, see if it lines up. And
that's
if you're lining up,
that's another thing we don't like to talk about. So we don't like to do that. What you're doing right there? They don't like to do that. They don't like you do. They don't want me to do that on here.
What's that old church song?
This is the bride you talking about. Stop it. We don't want to.
But it's a church song that says sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
That ain't where you get that from. What chapter?
That's a church song. That's a church song. So why you trying to talk about how dirty mine is, but you ain't trying to talk about yours?
Ooh, that somebody said, including myself. Hold on a second, Sister E. You got a couple of seconds?
What's up? That's the Williams Brothers. If you want me to tell you, that's a song from the Williams Brothers.
She was in the choir.
Okay.
I know she
okay,
was.
So yeah, we need a couple of seconds.
No, but I'm Faithful want to jump on.
Okay, Faithful can jump on.
All right.
But Faithful has to follow rules.
Hey. Let me, Yolanda, I had to do that. I don't want you emailing me about nothing. I had to do that for a second. I'm gonna unmute you. I just did it for a second.
By the way, we do have an assignment for Faith for BK as well.
So BK, all right. And I told y'all earlier, Rev C hit me. Hold on, Faithful. Let me go. Y'all talk. I'm trying to, I can't.
Yeah. We talked about that too, Brother Berean. So we got it all. We have it all in mind.
I did not. When I came back in the crib, I saw that y'all had a 7-7. I saw y'all had a what you call it. Thank you, BK. All right. Before he come on, would you like to? Because we did mention Faithful. We said some other things. He's going to come on and just share And I respect Faithful. There's a lot of people that I respect, you know, and I think, listen, people will call it a ghetto platform. Berean, you want some ignorant stuff. Why don't you talk like you got to educate us? I'm ignorant. I told him I was ignorant. I told him where I read all them books at. I ain't went to the seminary to read them books. I read them books in the cell. And this is just how it is. Well, you can still act better than that. Listen, y'all, this is what
but you got it. You got the gist of it though.
Whatever
right?
it is, I got the gist. Then whatever we do right here, we're gonna do it. We want grace and peace a lot. We want to get Faithful on here. Like I said, like Pastor May just brought up, he honorary member. He could jump on and, you know, share. I was glad that he could come on. We chopped up a little bit. Dr. E, the bishop, he know he can just jump on it. He just hit me. He know he good. He could just come on here because I know he gonna come. He gonna edify the people. You know, he gonna share. We done had Pastor Kelly up on here. I don't know, y'all. We want to vote. Y'all want to vote? Do me another. Where my ignorant folk at? Y'all want to vote? Y'all know that dude Ron Shields? What do y'all think about Divine Prospect? The church people they already damned to me to hell. They don't really. Some of them look out. They don't really look out like that. What do y'all think about Divine Prospect? Do y'all want to hear some from him? Other people said, the mere fact we don't know his doctrine, Berean, you don't need to deal with him. But I'm gonna put it out there. Y'all don't want to vote on Sister E. I feel like today's a Thanksgiving day. We got to get the voting on somebody. Vote on that dude, Divine Prospect. If y'all don't know, Harborging Ministries, pull him up. Pull him up on this thing and look at his ministry and see a little bit of what he talked about. People are very upset because they heard him lecturing in the church a year ago, 2 years ago, and said Berean danger. Somebody just texted me a message and just put danger. And then I saw him talking in the church, it looked like in a men's group or something. I don't know what it was, but I know what he was trying to say. We waiting for Faithful to jump up on here, y'all.
Okay, and by the way, subscribe to Berean TV for those that has not subscribed to Berean TV yet. Also, give us a thumbs up. None of these things cost you nothing at all. Just a tap, and you are actually subscribing. Push that bell. That way, whenever there's an updated dialogue like we're having now, live, you'll get an alert. Also, share this with a friend, family, loved one. This is the perfect dialogue while you're sitting around carving on that turkey and doing different things of that nature. Also, we're going to do a couple of new things. We moved on to Patreon, and it's a really good way of getting more engaged in the conversations that take place even before we go live and even after we get off. So these are some good products that we have. And we also are revamping our Sunday seminary, which will be coming soon, I think in possibly 2 weeks. So the Patreon will provide certain information on that as you go in and subscribe to it. Welcome on board, BK Apologist. How you doing?
Bell ring, Berean. He said, YouTube won't let my bell ring. I'm not even sure how that, I'm not sure how that thing go. Bring on Divine Prospect. Y'all scared of him. That's all. Scared of what? This is what the problem. This is the problem. Scared of him. In what sense? Y'all don't know. I'm around. I be around real scholars. I be around some real dudes that do this for real. This is what they do. And I want to bring something else out too. Even when Dr. E was talking, he said he was a pastor. Dr. E immediately when he started getting it on and Shaka Utmost, shout out to him. Shaka Utmost started hitting them, talking about who he gonna get at work to first. Mesa pastor with a degree, he a doctor. Not just being called doctor, he's still turning around, and what he do, he called them doctors that do nothing but textual criticism, to talk about that Greek language and the manuscripts and that letter when we start dealing with the Septuagint. He's not gonna play, he's gonna deal with them people that specialize in that lane. So that's not the beef. The beef is the church feel they have to protect the doctrine from people's ears. And I introduce stuff to people that church people don't think it's really right. Divine said the other day, Divine Prospect, Ron Shields said he don't look at the way we look at the Bible as the inspired, infallible word of God. He bear witness a few days ago, he was live, he said he don't look at it like that. It's not the end of the world, because I talk about Bart Ehrman, and I know Bart Ehrman don't look at it like that. But for some reason, they're more mad when Ron Shields say it. I don't know why. I'm just telling y'all it's politics behind who come on, period. That's just how it is. Well, I'm waiting for Faithful. Let me see. All right, Faithful.
Oh yeah. We got Faithful and BK.
Right, all right, no, hold on, BK. Grace and peace, Faithful. Grace and peace, Faith.
Grace and peace, brother. What's going on, brother?
Some stuff was said, and I heard that you wanted to jump on to clear some things up. Sister E, earlier, I was on with Dr. E. A few of us was live yesterday, and I'm not sure if she was back and forth with my man Alton. Shout out to Alton. And then she started going back and forth with you, maybe in the text, while she was on. We started going back and forth. So, Sister E, would you like to talk about some of that before Faithful actually starts sharing?
I ain't got to talk about it. Faithful know what I'm talking about. So
no, everybody, for people that don't know.
No. Okay, so that wasn't just the main reason that I did that post. Because if you look at a post I did yesterday, I said to my apologetic community. So it was not based off of faithful to God. Because I said every day I'm going to post something to make my apologetic community think about some things. Because again, I posted some yesterday prior to the conversation I had to Faithful. So Faithful was not the driving point of that post. I'm doing that anyway. But my whole problem with when people call moderates out, and Faithful made a post yesterday saying sex and marriage, and that sex is some people being camps or moderates believe that. And never once have I ever denied to say that there is poor doctrine. But when you're talking about moderates, that's too vague when you say certain. Because right now we're trying to build, we're trying to grow, we're trying to understand each other. And when those types of posts are being put out, it puts a connotation that, oh, let's start banging out on moderates, when people don't even know holistically what moderates believe in.
Okay, so do me a favor. I'm sorry. Do me a favor. You see what I agree with you before. I'm gonna give it up right now. Before days of Noah, Divine Prospect sits on the fence and isn't very clear on his beliefs. A lot of urban apologists feel that. That's suspect to me, but his ethics is on point. That's how come when people started saying, you know, he had dubbed this and that, I'm like, no, that brother been nothing but straight up. I'm not going to go that route where they going. He's always, even in debates and stuff, he's always respectful. He's always, you know, and I agree with you 100% on that. Yes, I agree with you, Days on Earth. All right, Faithful, bro, you got the floor.
All right, thank you, brother. So to my brother Alfredo Valentin, could you do me a favor? Can you unmute and read my post for the audience so they could actually see what I actually said in that post? Because I want this to be on record.
Whole thing?
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just the part at the top, not the whole thing. Okay. Just the part at the top.
Read the whole thing, Faithful. If you're gonna read it.
Okay, read the whole thing. If Sister E wants us to read the whole thing, that's fine. I don't know if the brother Berean wanted us to read the whole thing.
Okay, no, go ahead, because it's all right.
All right, go ahead and read the whole thing. Because I wanted him to read the whole thing, but then I didn't know if Brother Berean, you know, if he was pressed for time.
Y'all, throw a dollar in there. Go ahead.
All right.
All right. The following is a refutation of the ignorant idea from certain proponents of Hebrew Israelism.
Wait, stop right there, brother. From who?
From certain proponents.
Look up, PK. This is important. What you're doing.
Now, Faithful, I have a question.
No, Sissy. No, Sissy. When you spoke, Sissy. When you
explain.
Hold on.
Sissy, when you spoke,
are we gonna let him talk, Sister E?
I'm just reciting the post. I'm not putting any opinion on it.
Yeah. I was a gentleman with Sister E.
to read the whole thing, and then I want Faithful to talk. Then Sister E, you can talk. Do me a favor, please. Don't unmute yourself. Let Faithful talk. Let PK read it. Then let Faithful talk. We know Faithful along with it. Try to keep the conversation. Gonna be back and forth. Come on.
Right.
All right.
Let's have some decorum in here. Right. Thank you. All right. Go ahead,
I'm just going to read it straight through. All right.
Please do.
All right.
Okay. The following is a refutation of the ignorant idea from certain proponents of Hebrew Israelism regarding the notion that sex alone is marriage. This shows their fundamental lack of understanding of the Mosaic law and basic Israelite culture. For starters, the Mosaic law made it clear that marriage was arranged by a man with a woman's father via the payment of a dowry or the signing of the wedding contract, at which point the man and woman became betrothed and were legally considered husband and wife, Deuteronomy 22, verses 23 to 24. We even see a prime example of this in the Apocrypha, or deuterocanonical books of the liturgical side, hence Tobit 3, verses 7 to 8. However, they could not live with each other until the appointed time of consummation via sex. That is, unless the woman made a vow to God in her father's house, promising to remain a virgin with her betrothed husband accepted this vow in accordance with Numbers 30 verses 1 through 8, at which point they could live with one another without the act of consummation via sex. This goes for other vows as well. I say this because an ignorant person who self-identifies as an Israelite sarcastically posed a question some time ago asking how Mary could have been a virgin according to the New Testament narrative, and yet have Joseph be called her husband in Matthew 1 verse 19 without sex, while ignoring the fact that they were betrothed, thus legally making him her husband, along with the fact that she was made pregnant supernaturally by the, I can't read that Hebrew, according to the Father's plan, hence Matthew 1:18, Luke 1:26-35, Luke 2:5, Luke 3:23, etc. That's
Right.
the post.
And real quick, before I expound on that, I wanted to say that the person that I was mentioning is an individual by the name of Quana Lawa. So he's a Tanakh only Hebrew Israelite who believes that only Latinos are Israelites. He doesn't believe African Americans are Israelites, ironically enough, but he holds to pretty much all the views. He thinks the curses only fit Native Americans. He thinks that most African Americans are Canaanites. He's got a lot of crazy things going on. And
so this right now, I'm sorry, because this has nothing to do with anybody moderate like I would speak about on here.
No. It does have to do with certain moderates. And when I mean moderates, it's specifically individuals. It doesn't have to be necessarily organizations, although I was looking at someone's post where IOG, which I wasn't aware of this, IOG seems to believe that sex is marriage, because there was a sister who shared a video of...
They do.
No, hold on.
I know people from IOG.
No, but what I'm saying is that the sister shared a video where the person was making the claim. Now, I said that it seems, I didn't say it's an absolute fact, because I haven't looked into what IOG holds to specifically regarding that topic. But I will say that there are moderates. There are people that will say, well, Gentiles can be saved. They're not going to be, below us or anything. But they got to keep the law. And by the way, sex is marriage, because I've seen them. I've had conversations with them in Vocab's group. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason why I said certain Hebrew Israelites is specifically because there are certain Hebrew Israelites who hold to that. And it's not a specific organization. It is individuals. And so I said, if anybody feels convicted reading that, or if they feel that I'm addressing them and they think, and they actually hold to that position, then it was meant for them. And I do not take that back. I stand behind those words 100%. Anybody who holds to those views that post was meant for them. Even if I didn't write it for them, it's meant for them. And so, but it was meant for specific individuals. And I named one of them, Sister E, lest you say I don't name these people by name, because I stay calling these people out all the time, especially when you see me talking about Sakari or you see me talking about GMS. Brother Berean knows this because he's seen me call out Sakari, GMS, and all these different groups by name in my, matter of fact, I just called out Rakad recently, and he's a moderate. Rakad's a moderate, and I called him out because he argues against the Tetragrammaton, against the holy name of God, the third person grammatical form of God's name. He calls that satanic. I know you don't agree with that, Sister E, and I know you don't agree with the sexist marriage thing. So I don't lump you in with those people just because I have problems with them. But when I do have problems with them, for whatever reason, you seem to pop up and you seem to start voicing your opinion about it.
Come on, Sister E, now where's she at?
Okay, so here I am. So back to your original post, because I read the whole post and you said it was directed towards particularly towards a certain person, correct? A conversation you had, correct? Faithful? I'm asking you a question.
Yeah, he's muted.
I apologize. Yeah, my can you repeat that again, the last part, because it was breaking up on
that
me.
Particular post at the bottom.
Okay.
You were directing it towards a particular conversation you had with an Israelite. So
twofolded. No. So I can add clarity. So I can give you clarity. Mm-hmm. The part at the very top had to do with the people that I've interacted with in Vocab's discussion group and also outside, because this also has occurred outside of the group with individuals. And the part at the bottom was specifically addressed. That's why I said an individual who recently made a post. That was Quanalawa. And matter of fact, I tagged him in there. So it's not like he was unaware of what I wrote. I actually tagged him in so we could have a conversation about that in the post.
So going back to my original statement.
Yeah.
This is something that I said to you because, again, even Colin said in the comments, oh, he's talking about camps. Then you turn around and say, oh, no, I'm talking about moderates too.
Yes.
So when you all do that, do you realize the damage that you all are doing when it comes to dialogue? Because when you say certain, you have people in the midst, because you should be held accountable because the blood is on your hands. There are people in your group and that were amening you that will automatically assume, oh, Sister E is wrong. Oh, majors believe in that. When you say certain, certain is dangerous. And certain is something, even if I did a research paper, I was in college and I graduated from college. When you did a research paper and you were talking about a particular subject, and I said certain in the research paper, my professor would say that's too vague, provide detail. So when you all say certain or Israelites or even moderates, because being honest, moderates, we never called ourselves moderates. Actually, Berean came up with the term moderates. There are people within our community that have poor doctrine. There are, just like there are people in you all's community, if it be Calvinist or non-Calvinist, that have poor doctrine. But when you say certain, you're adding fuel to the fire. It makes the dialogue between us and you all even harder because people have already stamped that, oh, even though he said certain, I'm automatically assume that he's talking about everybody in the Israelite community. Israel of God, you said something about Israel of God. I was the one that posted the video of Israel of God. Israel of God had a whole wedding ceremony. Now, are there individuals that possibly are in the community of Israel of God that teach that sex is marriage? Yes, I'm not saying that they are not doing it, but the guy had a marriage ceremony. And yes, sex is a part of the marriage ceremony. It's called consummation of the marriage. They understand the word of God. Even when you look at the video, the leader talked about marriage. So when you all do these things, I say do due diligence, do your research. Yes, camps are one thing, but I guess I'm using the term moderates. Moderates are a whole nother arena. Be specific because you make it harder for us, faithful, when you do stuff like that, because people don't want to hear me because they automatically assume, and I'm just saying in general, people possibly automatically assume when faithful to God said certain, possibly Sister E is that certain. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I go ahead and address that real quick?
I want to address
it. So here's the thing. Number one, I think that you underestimate the intelligence of brothers and sisters that were commenting in the same way that you feel people underestimate your intelligence, right? So look at it from this perspective. I can tell you for a fact that there are brothers and sisters who commented who do not hold to that view because of the whole idea that if I say certain moderates or if I mention moderates in conjunction with that view, that automatically that means all moderates hold to that view. Because we've had conversations behind the scenes. I can tell you for a fact that there are brothers and sisters, like this brother right here, Alfredo, knows for a fact that when I mention a moderate in conjunction with a specific view, I'm not talking about every single person who is a moderate. And for the record, and no disrespect to my brother Berean, but the term moderate wasn't just, no one here has a monopoly on the term. When we use it specifically to make a separation between, let's say, the camps and then other groups, right? That don't hold to the views that the camps hold to. But as far as what I posted, right? When I said sex alone is marriage is the erroneous view that certain Hebrew Israelites hold to, I'm talking about those specific Hebrew Israelites, whether it be the camps, whether it be a moderate, whether it be a whoever, anybody, even it could be a Christian, if they hold to that view. Matter of fact, I had it. I'm so glad that this came to memory. I'm so glad. Glory be to God that this came to memory. I had a conversation in Vocab's group with a Christian, a person self-identifying as a Christian, and we went back and forth specifically on this topic. And I had to correct this man several times. Matter of fact, the brother Eric Mason came in there correcting this man. So yes, we do correct Christians on erroneous doctrine. That's an example. That Christian held to that view. And remember when I told you Hebrew Israelites, that goes for Christians too. If a Christian holds to the view that sex alone is marriage, then my post was meant for them as well, even if I didn't explicitly state it, because I do not endorse that view because it's not biblical. Now, with that being said, I didn't have you in mind. I didn't have majors in mind. I didn't have Kelly, Pastor Kelly in mind. And by the way, I have issues with him, with Pastor Kelly on other areas. And you've seen when we've made videos, but we've always kept it specifically on the areas that we disagree. And trust me, there are other areas and there will be other videos. You best believe that I'm going to make videos against him on the things that I disagree with him on, but I will not disrespect. No, let me finish. Let me finish. But I will not disrespect him on a personal level, nor will I try to say that all Hebrew Israelites, because I would even go out on a limb to make a distinction between what you hold to and what he holds to, because I know that you guys don't agree on every last finite detail, because that's just not reasonable. You're going to have disagreements with him on specific things, and on those specific things that you guys disagree on, matter of fact, I'll even go out on a limb to say that the people who affiliate with him, like Sister E and Pastor Majors, do not agree with him on this specific area, because I will make sure of that. But I will go and I will address the things that I disagree with him on, like I would with anybody. I don't agree with the name it and claim it crowd, but I'm not going to say all Pentecostals are name it and claim it and then start and try to attack every single person who's a Pentecostal because you got Creflo Dollar out here wilding, you know? It just is what it is. And I believe in nuance, but I think you took offense to something that really, if you really examine it, it's like you made a mountain out of a molehill.
And it didn't really even have to do anything with her.
Yeah. Yeah, jump in, my brother Brian. Yeah, go ahead and jump in.
I'm just. Do you agree with that statement I just made? And it really didn't have anything to do with her.
It had nothing to do with her. In fact, I didn't even think of Sister E. Yeah, I didn't even think of Sister E when it came to the post in terms of that she holds to that view, because one, I think Sister E has way more common sense to even, I knew for a fact that she wasn't gonna. Well, okay. I was hoping, let me be more nuanced in what I'm going to say. I was hoping that she would understand that I have a great deal of respect for her intelligence, that I wasn't at all insinuating it was her. I don't know where she got the idea that somehow when I said specific and I mentioned moderates, that somehow I'm lumping her into the category simply because she identifies as a moderate. That's just illogical. She could have asked me, Brother Faithful, just out of curiosity, were you mentioning me? I would have been like, no, cool. And we could have just kept that moving.
All right, Sister E, come on.
So the first thing I did mention in the comments, and one of the first things I said in your post, Faithful, was we have, and maybe I should have addressed it a little different, but we have to be very careful when we use the word certain. And you're missing my point. When you say certain, you are feeding fuel, you're adding fuel to the fire. Because again, regardless of what you're saying, there are some people within your post that have pretty much called me heretics, and you've pretty much fed into that. And it ain't about me. At the end of the day, it's about how things have been communicated within the apologetic community. You all love to sling mud and say you're doing it for the sake of the faith, and that's really not helping. It's causing more tension. Great example, you said you're getting ready to do a video on Pastor Kelly. Why do a Pastor Kelly video without having dialogue with this man? That's not walking in love. If you don't agree with that brother, call him, have dialogue, but that's not doing what people want to see. People want to see mudslinging.
But some people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but some people, that's a form of polemic, though. Back in the days, that's what they did. Some people would write a polemic out. They would write an answer to another church, the church fathers and stuff like that, or doing a video. That is one way of apologetic. But if he don't ask him first, would you like to do a video? Somebody hit me and said, Berean, I saw you do something. I'm gonna make a response video just out of respect. I'm just gonna hit you and tell you, I'm making a response video.
Brother Berean,
I don't really think that thing is wrong for not calling Pastor Kelly because he don't agree.
Berean, let me finish my point.
I interrupted you. I was interrupting Brother Berean.
Okay, thank you. What I'm saying with that is it still doesn't make it right. If you don't,
in your eyes.
Berean, let me finish. Because the thing is this, it may be something that you're not clear on. There are certain things that y'all believe that we don't believe, that we're not comfortable with. But what will it hurt to have dialogue with Pastor Kelly, but then make a video? If you need to have dialogue, I have his number. Faithful, you have my number. The thing is, no, let me finish my point.
Okay, all right, go ahead, finish your point. Yeah.
Because the thing is, y'all love making videos. We can put Pastor Kelly on here right now if you want to have dialogue. If you want to, If you want to do that, because we can, because y'all,
Sure.
that'll be a whole nother hour. Poor Berean. I'm sorry, Berean. I ain't gonna do that to you. But we can reconvene and have a conversation and pull a Zoom up and have conversation rather than bashing people, because I actually Pastor Kelly is more of my elder than Major sometimes. So when you attack Pastor Kelly, you're actually attacking my elder.
Well, that's disheartening, but that is very disheartening.
And that's very rude of you, faithful to God. If you're walking in the ways of Jesus Christ, you're going to talk to my brother. Well, you're going to talk to my brother. If he's in error and you feel like he's in error, you're going to talk to him. Sure, and not do videos.
I have no problem. Hold on, let me just stop you. I have no problem talking to him.
Okay.
My only qualm is the inconsistency that I see, where at the beginning of this video, you mentioned vocab and you said that, vocab and this other person, and you were mentioning people by name. Have you had conversation with vocab alone, or did you just feel it was okay to mention vocab's name in conjunction with the fact that you think other people have been calling out?
That's a fair question, but that's a fair question right there. But
was I vague when I said vocab? No,
and I wasn't vague when I mentioned Quanah, and I wasn't vague when I mentioned. Wait a minute, let me finish.
You didn't have him in your post, though. You said certain.
But here's the thing: the people that I was speaking of know exactly who I was speaking of, because first of all, hold on, let me finish. I tagged the person that I specifically at the bottom portion that I wanted to have a dialogue with. I tagged them in there, and I basically said a certain person, because one, I'm not giving any of these people any free any free commercials
promotion,
so people can go and be beguiled and start trying to follow these lunatics. I'm talking about the ones that hold to that erroneous view, or the ones that hold to this guy's view. He rejects the New Testament, Quanah, by the way. He doesn't believe Jesus is the Messiah. He attacks Jesus. Now, and I've had conversations with him on my wall posts on other topics. So this isn't our first rodeo. Now, the only thing I want to say, though, is this. I didn't have you in mind. And as far as I'm going to make videos, not that I'm making one right now at the moment. Rather, I've seen Pastor Kelly's wall posts. I've seen the way that he argues against Orthodox Christian doctrine in many areas. For example, his whole attacks on the Trinity, and the fact that he says things that are just completely inaccurate about the Trinity. The fact that he does that, the fact that he also is promoting the fake Hebrew that the camps promote, which is known as Lashon Kodash. Yes, he does. When he says Shalom, that is the camp Hebrew. That is not ancient Hebrew. Sister E, that is not ancient Hebrew, and I will challenge him to have a debate with me on that specific topic.
I agree with Faithful on that. I agree with Faithful on that. Hold on, Sister E. I agree with Faithful on that. I think part of the problem is that, Sister E, I'm riding with you. I told y'all Faithful put that work in and everything, but Sister EU, my homegirl, I'm riding with you, no matter however you slice the cake, I'm gonna ride with you. But I got to keep it 100. I feel that specific post ain't had nothing to do with you. You woke up this morning and wanted to lick shots. So I said, listen, and White wanted to check you on the side, and we discussed it. Then I said, do y'all think do y'all want to go live and just bring it out? This is hashing out some other things. When we go back to even the pews with Pastor Kelly, it's other beef that's been ongoing. So you've been feeling a type of way. And you wanted to lick shots, but that specific post, BJ Apologist just read, had nothing to do with nothing, but you just wanted to lick shots. So we're to this place right now. We're to this place right now. He said he's going to videos, and that's okay. That's what we do. Come on,
can I make a point? Can I make a point? Because my post, again, if you remember what I just said, and you can go look at my Facebook page, I was saying things a couple of days ago to my apologetic community. So this had nothing to do with Faithful to God, because this is, again, something that I said I was going to do because I want to make my apologetic community people think rather than react sometimes. Now let's go back to the thing of, we ain't talking about the language, because ultimately we've cleared this up, Faithful to God. I don't know anything about the language. My point when I originally did what I did and said what I said was saying that you should have talked to Pastor Kelly. And you're still not doing that. You're still going to go make the videos as norm. Now, when I talk about,
is he wrong for that?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Sister E, I'm not gonna let you lie on me. No.
Time out.
I'm not gonna let you lie on me. You and I had a conversation behind the scenes.
No, let her go.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna let you go. Because Yolanda, I'm gonna get me if I don't mute you. Go ahead.
Mute him, because at the end of the day, yes, we had a conversation, and yes, I did say I was not coming for you, my brother. I was coming for what the point was. My point was this: you should have talked to Kelly, and I never backed down from that, because that was wrong. Now, when I said what I said about vocab, it was to a specific incident. I never said that just vaguely, oh, vocab does this. I'm talking about a post he made last year, and he put Pastor Omar in it, he put Pastor Kelly in it, and he's not having dialogue. He decided to do that. And in fact, vocab had to go back and apologize to Pastor Omar for what he did. So right, that's what I'm
gonna let Faithful go, but I'm gonna say something else too. Y'all know what y'all want. Y'all know Pastor Kelly is basically her pastor. She come on and she rock with us, but Pastor Kelly is her pastor. Pastor Kelly's her elder. Anything anybody say about Pastor Kelly's Sister E gonna go in. That's how it is. Once you did mention vocab, she talked specifically about Pastor Kelly. If y'all watch multiple Berean videos, why don't they talk to Pastor Kelly? She's always pushing Pastor Kelly teaching. Pastor Kelly, just talk to him, be fair, talk to him. She'll make it or major Pastor Omar, but Pastor Kelly, she's feeling a certain type of way about him, and she's always going to push the dialogue. People have heard her multiple times that watch Berean TV and would share that, and she don't like the mere fact that Pastor Kelly's name came out of vocab mouth. That's it. Faithful, you got the floor.
Okay. So Sister E and I had a conversation with Abu as a witness, and we talked about specifically the videos and having a sit down, and Sister E said, I'll get back to y'all on this. Let me talk to Pastor. No, Sister E. Wait a minute, Sister E. I don't think Sister E realizes that I recorded that conversation, Sister E. I don't think you want me to play the conversation live on air.
Oh, because you can play the conversation. Because guess what? I went back and asked Abu, when are we meeting? So don't come.
But you said.
I knew you was recording it. I'm not stupid to y'all.
Sister E, you said specifically, I will play the video. You said specifically, I need to talk to him to arrange it, and you never got back to us. No. Let me finish.
Let him talk.
Wait. You got to mute Sister E.
I'm trying to see unmute. No, Sister E, just chill for a minute. I'm mute Faithful. Hold on, let him talk. And then you can go back and say, I remember the whole thing. Let him go.
Salute to you, brother. You know what I mean? So my thing was this. We were willing to sit down with Pastor Kelly. We were willing to sit with him and discuss our disagreements with him on that specific topic. Now, Sister E, I want you to hear me. We haven't made any more videos on Pastor Kelly, but I will say this though. If I see him promoting something false on his wall post about Christians or about orthodoxy, and if he doesn't want to have a conversation with, because so far it's been over a month, we haven't had a conversation with him. Nothing has been arranged. Let me finish. If he doesn't want to have a conversation with us, I am going to make my wall posts, videos addressing the specific arguments that I have with him.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that because we do it all the time. Listen, the brother Berean, when he doesn't like something, he's going to let you know he doesn't like it. It's going to be live. It's going to be in person. It's going to be without pause. And that's why I respect this brother, because he speaks his mind and he says what he needs to say when he needs to say it. And if he can have that conversation behind the scenes, I know my brother here, he will have that conversation with someone behind the scenes. And I feel that if you can look at this brother right here as a brother, and you can respect him on that point, then you should do the same with me and not look at me simply because you don't like the fact that I talk about Hebrew Israelites and you think that I'm just talking about everybody and I just lump everybody into the same boat. That's not what I'm doing. And I think you're a lot more, what's the word I'm thinking of? I feel like you should have more nuance too in the way you approach this. You need to have more nuance.
All right, now, so you're faithful. Come on.
So let's go back to that original point.
We're not getting on the whole pew thing. You just want to clear something up, right? Not the whole pew and the language.
No, I'm going to clear something out. Faithful, you said I have not gotten back with you all. And I have proof that I sent Abu multiple messages saying, hey, Abu, when do you all want to get back together? I may not have sent it to you, Faithful, but I sent it to him. He has not responded. So don't sit here and make it seem like I'm hiding. I never hid.
Well, maybe he
went
did.
back
Maybe
to-
Abu
I
did.
went
How
back
come you
to
didn't
the-
send me?
so-
Wait, why didn't the
so-
sister send me
No,
the
no,
message?
hold on.
Why?
I got to mute you. I wanted to finish, Faithful. I wanted to finish.
Faithful, I sent it to Abu. Now, if I didn't send it to you, that's fine. It's because I probably didn't think anything about it. But I sent it to Abu. So you need to address Abu and figure out why Abu didn't respond to me.
Yeah, but
Because
you could have sent it to me.
It ain't
Sister,
about
you could have. Wait,
I
sister,
didn't
you could
think
have.
about it.
Wait, you're not hearing me, sister. You're not listening. You could have sent it to me, and I would have responded to you, and then it would have just been me and Pastor Kelly without Abu there, because I have the same issues with Kelly that Abu has. So the reason I wonder why you didn't send it to me is because you reached out to me first. You reached out to me first. Matter of fact, we both decided to have a conversation, because we both saw because remember, you messaged me first in my live chat when I made the live stream of that video that Abu made, and you got in contact with me to initiate it all. I decided, you know what, we need to have this conversation, and we both agreed that this was something that needed to we needed to sit down and talk about this with Pastor Kelly present. All right. With that being said,
you do. I'm sorry.
didn't
Hold on a second, Sister E. You agree that you reached out to him first when you saw that pew thing, when you saw a polemic, a response from Faithful concerning the pews with Pastor Kelly talking about injury. You agree? You reached out. You started that, right?
No. When I did that, you talking about when I did that post? Yes,
when
because
you reached out to with the whole thing with the pews. Did Faithful come in contact with you first, or you came in contact with him?
Faithful reached out to me and said, "Hey, can we have a conversation?"
No, you reached out to me
because you asked me, "Can we become friends? Can we become friends?"
That's not what happened.
Because again, maybe I missed it and maybe I forgot that part. But let's go back to the original statement of you saying I never got back with you all.
You just said he got back with the other brother instead of
because the thing is, when we clarified that this was an Abu teaching, that's why I went to Abu, because that was Abu's post. Abu did that. You didn't, and you said that Abu did that. That's why I reached out to the Abu, because Abu is the source, and I was waiting on him. Now, should I have reached out to you? Yes, it has nothing to do with hiding. It probably has to do with the fact that I forgot, because I assumed that you and Abu talk constantly. Am I wrong or right? Do you and Abu talk?
No, we don't talk every day, but we certainly do talk.
If you all talk, you need to probably talk to Abu, because I got proof right here. I sent messages and a voice message.
See, right here, I got the live chat where you actually messaged me right here in the live chat.
Okay, if I addressed you, that's fine. But let's go back to
it was you. No, it was you.
Let's go
I like to bring receipts.
The original. Let's go back to the original point, Faithful. You said that I did not get back to you.
All right. Do me a favor. Don't worry about that right now, Sister E. What's your gripe with what you feel?
No, I want to get back to this. I want to get back to this because Faithful made a pop shot like he normally does instead of following up with his friends. Abu didn't get back.
Okay, you agree nobody got back with you, Faithful.
Didn't get back. So don't make it seem like Sister E wrong.
Let me speak on this. Number one, Abu never messaged me. Okay, he never told me that you messaged him or anything like that. So, and let me tell you something about Abu. Yes, I understand that you sent him the message, sister. You don't have to show your phone. We all understand that you sent him the message. No one is denying that you sent him the message. This is why it's important to have nuance when one speaks. I'm saying, even if you sent him the message, which you clearly did, he did not tell me about the message. Maybe he didn't even see the message himself. Maybe he didn't. And with that being said, if he didn't see the message and he didn't tell me, I didn't know about it. The bigger question, though, is if you wanted us to talk, I'm talking about with Pastor Kelly, either one of us, why did you not send me the message along with Abu? Instead, you just sent Abu the message, even though you initially reached out to me. Yes, it was you reaching out to me first to have a conversation so we could even try to have some sort of peaceful sit down. That's the funny part here. And the funny thing is, and I don't think you remember this, you didn't want to have a private conversation.
I sure did.
You wanted to do a live stream. Hold on, let me finish. You wanted to do a live stream.
Yes.
Let me finish. You wanted to do a live stream where you specifically wanted us to come on your platform. You didn't want to do it on anyone else's platform. You didn't even want to do it on a neutral platform like the brother.
But you didn't do it on a neutral. At the end of the day,
number one, we're making listen to me. We're making a response video to Richardson, who went on and made a video on his channel about a year ago attacking people and saying that they're trying to hide this, the powers that be, and all this other conspiracy stuff. And yet, when we address his arguments to show why it's faulty, then he gets upset. Then he accuses us of personally attacking him. How come he didn't go and sit down with every individual Christian he disagrees with and say, look, I have an issue with the fact that nobody wants to talk about these pews. And I guarantee you, I would have, if he would have said something like that, I would have been the first one to step up and be like, let's talk about those pews. Because I've been wanting to talk about those pews with people for a long time from the Hebrew Israelite side.
He ain't directed it towards you, Faithful. When he talked about those pews, he talked about the language. He talked about the website that was changed. Because if you look at the website of the church, the website says Aramaic, but the video says cursive Hebrew. So it wasn't directed towards you, Faithful to God. What happened was y'all found the video and said, let's go and proceed with that.
We saw the video. We saw the video of no, let me stop you. The cursive Hebrew, where the woman is talking about, the one that's leading in the documentary, we saw that too. And we know that that's an inconsistent position of the church, because the church has been changing its position for a minute now on whether it's this and that. Now, because he self-identifies as an Israelite and he wants it to be Hebrew, and then he sees that they're changing their position, he looks at it as something like, these people are being underhanded, these people are trying to hide something.
That's his family church, Faithful. And
all right, but that doesn't negate the fact that some people feel.
Let me finish, Beran.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Say what you want to say.
Let me finish what I'm going to say with Faithful, because
it doesn't matter if it's his church. The point is that
the thing is, you want to do something.
He's not.
Let her go, Faithful. Let her go.
You want to do something private, Faithful, when you did something public. My words were, and I do admit it, and I'm not going to sit here and have any qualms about it. I said, let's publicly, and I said it even in my post that I did, let's publicly have a conversation, because Faithful, you publicly did it. But what happened is you asked me, and you remember, you said, let's go on my platform instead. You forget that, Faithful? You said that.
No, he didn't say he forgot that. He didn't say he forgot that.
Yeah, you said that. So
no, he didn't say he forgot that. Okay. Anything else that you'd like to share, Sister E? Anything else you'd like to share before we close?
But the thing is at the end of the day, I did not come to you because I was going to the source, which is Abu. When you redirected me to Abu, I told Abu as well, I will sync up with you, Abu, so we can sit down and have dialogue. Now, should I have reached out to you? I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm thinking y'all work together. If I have something going on between me and let's say we need to have a conversation about Kelly, and if you reached out to Kelly because we working together, Kelly would have come to me. So it's poor communication between you and Abu, and it's not.
Is there anything else you feel offended about the Faithful that you'd like to share with him publicly, that you feel
I would say
for your forgiveness, or vice versa, Faithful?
I would say that if he's going to do a video, I would say let's do a video together with Pastor Kelly. And let's do it on your platform, Beran. We're not going to do it on Faithful's, nor will we do it on mine. Let's do that then.
Okay. All right. What about you, Faithful? Thank you for sharing, Sister. What about you, Faithful? Do you?
So I'd be willing to have a moderated debate with Pastor Kelly on specifically the fraudulent dialect that he's promoting, claiming that it's ancient Hebrew, which it isn't. Yes. And if he wants to have one on the pews, we could have a debate on that too, if he wants to, because I am definitely no,
Sister E. Sister E. Sister E. Go ahead, Faithful. You don't unmute yourself. Go ahead. I know this is your platform. You rock out together, but let him go ahead and speak.
Right. And Andre Bell better chill, because right now Sister E was the one interrupting. You need to be consistent. All right. So with that being said, I want to say this. If he wants to have a conversation, I'm more than willing to have it, but we're going to have it in debate format, because I feel that there are things that Pastor Kelly holds to in regards to those two topics that is just completely erroneous. And I don't believe that his position is tenable. Now, that's fine. We could have it on Brother Beran's channel and we could definitely hash it out. Now, as far as you and I are concerned, Sister E, let me say this to you directly. I don't have any issue with you personally at all. I have never made a video calling your name out, and you cannot find a video on my channel. You can't even find a wall post where I called you out or I said anything ill about you. Brother Beran, have I ever spoken ill to you about the Sister E?
Never.
Matter of fact, when the first time I came on here, didn't I say I'm not? Remember when I was talking to Pastor Majors and Pastor Kelly, I said I'm not referring to my sister E right now because I know that Sister E didn't, because she, number one, she wasn't the one talking, they were the one talking, right? And so I was very clear because I know Sister E felt like maybe I was trying to lump her in with other people even at that time. And I let her know on air. I don't know if you remember this, Sister E, because we can play the video. And so I'm very careful and nuanced. Matter of fact, when the brother Berean did the Facebook Live, I said, I'm not talking about my Sister E. Is that correct, my brother? Did I not say Sister E? I'm not talking about Sister E when I was saying what I was saying in regards to Hebrew Israelism and my disagreements. I said, I'm not talking about Sister E because she doesn't hold to a vast majority of these things. And I know that there's a difference between you and say, you know, someone like Rakat from GOCC, or I know there's a difference between you and IOG. I know there's a difference between you and other folks. Sister E, I think what you, like, I do agree with the brother Berean. I think you just wanted to get something off of your chest that you were just holding in, that you assumed about me, and that was your moment to do it. And I felt that that wasn't right because I wasn't talking about you. Now, as far as everything else, now, if you feel like I've offended you, I'll more than gladly apologize right now to you live on air, because I don't have any problem apologizing to people if they feel offended by something that I have said, because I wasn't looking to offend you. Or, matter of fact, I'm not even trying to offend Pastor Kelly, but I will call falsehood falsehood. If he's saying something false, it's false. I'm not trying to offend him.
There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right. Sister E, do you feel he owed Pastor Kelly a public apology now, even though Pastor Kelly's not here? Would you like him to? Would you like him to apologize to Pastor Kelly as well right now in the presence of everybody?
That's up to Pastor Kelly. I'm saying this, that right now we're trying to build and figure out where we all can at least meet in the middle. And doing these videos, Faithful to God has I'm telling you something, it hasn't done anything but create division rather than dialogue and conversation. So when I attack, I understand you're not attacking me, but when you attack some of the people like Pastor Kelly, when Vocab did what he did with Pastor Omar and Pastor Kelly and the rest of the people, yeah, he did call out Pastor Dow as well. But and I don't agree with Pastor Dow, but yet and still, when you all do that to the people that I study and I hold true to, that's almost an attack on me. That's just like me making a public post about Eric Mason. I may not be attacking you, Faithful to God, but I am somewhat attacking one of your leaders. So you don't have to necessarily come and attack me. But I would say the godly thing to do is when we have this dialogue, it's not just based on what you want to talk about, not just the pews. Let's just talk about everything in general. If you want to bring you and a couple other people, we can bring Majors and Kelly and a couple other people, and we have dialogue and we have a debate. They have no problems with debating.
No, see, that could be what we're trying to get to right here. You just want Kelly, Major, you want to moderate debate.
I got a couple other people.
That's ultimately what you want then.
But that's what
you're really trying to do.
What everybody wants. But Faithful said that. Faithful said he wants to have a debate. I'm saying that
I would not have any problem having a debate.
Real
quick. I want to ask you one quick thing, just one quick thing, please.
All right.
I wanted to ask you, it's just one quick thing. So you don't like the fact that people made videos about Pastor Kelly regarding a public video that he made, because his video was
without him having the chance to get on and speak right there.
Right. And now correct. I will say this. Now, Sister, I want to ask you a question. When Pastor Kelly made his video against Pastor Mason, and he was calling him out by name, and he was saying all this other stuff, and I know that he didn't have a sit down with Pastor Mason before making that video, was that okay? Or do you feel that he should have, if you want to be consistent, did you correct him on that? Did you tell Pastor Kelly you were wrong for making that video?
I talk about Sinetta. I don't call them. I'm talking about Garfield. I ain't calling them.
Because
I'm saying what I want to say.
But
I understand. Wait, real quick. I understand what the brother Berean is saying. I understand what the brother.
You don't have to every time you make as a YouTube. Every time you make a video and you make
you missing my point, brother Berean. You missing the you missing my point, brother. You missing my point. What I'm saying is, according to her logic, if she
her logic is wrong. Her logic is wrong.
I'm saying her logic. Yeah, her logic
is wrong because in that sense, I would have to call Sinetta, Garfield, and them every time I mention their name in a video. I don't do that.
But you don't have to do that. But the thing is, Berean, you still gave them an opportunity. You have conversations with Sinetta. You've been on Sinetta's show. That if you do make shots, but you've at least sat down with these guys.
But Sister E, did you sit down with Pastor Kelly when he attacked Pastor Mason? Did you sit down with him? And did you tell him he shouldn't do that?
Faithful to God. Tell me what was the reason? What was the reason behind Pastor Kelly saying what he said about Eric Mason?
Regardless, no, I want to address it. No, I am addressing it. No, I'm addressing it directly. I'm addressing it directly. The reason was that he didn't like the fact that Pastor Mason was talking about Hebrew Israelites. Now, let me finish. Now, the thing is this, regardless of what his reasoning was, the same way that Pastor Kelly will make videos trying to criticize something that Christians are doing, because he does have videos where he does that.
And the Trinity is not calling us. It's okay. It's what we all do.
Right. And so, and with that being said, I wonder if you're consistent, Sister E, and if you're sitting down with Pastor Kelly and telling him, Pastor Kelly, that's wrong. You should sit down with these Christians. I don't really think you're doing that.
I have a question. Does Kelly just vaguely, just out of the blue, wake up? If y'all wouldn't have said nothing about us, and rather than had dialogue with us, would he be making videos?
But Sister, you're not being consistent. You're not being consistent. You're not being consistent.
No, my question is, when you did the pews, when he did the pew video, was he attacking you, or was he talking about the history of the church?
We were.
What was the purpose?
I'm addressing your question. Listen,
come on.
First, I gotta address what we were doing, and I'm gonna address his whole purpose of making the video, because he was very clear and forthright in why he made the video. Mm-hmm. We critiqued his video specifically because he made it public, and because he had a critique about why he felt that these pews were somehow really Hebrew, even though he's never demonstrated it. And number two, why he thinks that there's a conspiracy to hide it. And the reason why is because he's starting from the presupposition that he's an Israelite, and therefore this is conspiracy to hide that, that African Americans are Israelites, or whatever, he believes. And so he made that video with that in mind. We made the response not simply because it was him, because I'm gonna be honest, I really had no idea who Pastor Kelly was before I came on Brother Berean's channel that one day. And when I found out that the brother Abu had made a video on that, it was specifically because I already have had interactions with Hebrew Israelites about those Georgia pews. It wasn't just Pastor Kelly. Other Hebrew Israelites use those pews to try to form polemics. Yes. And we know that that's a faulty argument. Now, with that being said, I want to know why you're not being consistent in sitting Pastor Kelly down and rebuking him when he makes public videos calling people out for whatever motive. It could be someone else says this or whatever, but you're not being consistent, because if you were consistent, you would have sat him down and said, brother, why are you doing this? We need to be talking to Christians in private because we need to bridge this gap. But that's not what you're doing. You're only doing it when it's Christians. You're only doing it when Christians say something about Hebrew Israelites.
I agree with that, Faithful. We got to pick this up and we got to move on.
Let me say
I'm giving you two. We getting close up. I'm getting to leave.
That's not fair. You're not gonna let me finish and make a response to what Faithful saying. Because at the end of the day, when we talked about those, and I'm gonna be quiet after this, the pews itself, was he attacking you, Faithful?
Y'all heard she say she's gonna be quiet after this. Go ahead.
Was he attacking you when he did the pew conversation?
We didn't make the video because he was attacking. We were
okay.
Because
so
he was no. We weren't making the videos. Let me answer that. Let me answer that. We didn't make those videos because he was attacking us on a personal level. We're making those videos because the argument is faulty and because it is not a good argument.
And that's scholarship, Sister E. That's what scholarship is.
But the thing is, true scholarship
doesn't have to backpedal some about those pews.
He didn't have no dialogue.
That's why we have to have a debate. Did Kelly or anybody else that deal with that language? Because there's 6
but
people
the thing is,
already on that language. If Kelly had to backpedal some, we need to have a debate about the pews.
We can sit and have a conversation. We can have a debate, but at the end,
right, that's good. So we have to set that up. That's all we have to do.
Not just about the language, but things in general. Because the thing is, when we talked about that language, I never said I understood the language. I don't know the language.
You said that afterwards. You brought all of that out.
But the thing is this, again, when you have to correct someone, because again, you said that Kelly attacked. We're talking about attacking videos. When you want to correct someone, you have dialogue with them, or better yet, schedule a debate. He's not going to debate.
You don't have to do that, Sister E. We're not doing that.
Not godly, though, because you don't like it. It's still not godly. Creating videos and putting the man's picture on there without having true dialogue, that's not, because even the word of God says we have to come together and reason. That wasn't reasoning. At the end of the day, I don't care what you say, Faithful, that was not reasoning. The man made a post about his old church, his family church. What should have happened, because it ain't like you don't know how to get in touch with me, Faithful, or anybody. You could easily say, let's have dialogue, Kelly, me and you, because I don't agree with your position.
Clearly, I'm you both y'all right now. I'm both y'all right now. No, I'm you both y'all right now. Clearly, we don't agree on that. I don't agree with you on that point, Sister E. I ain't talking to side none of them. I don't care if the person is a Bible. I don't have to talk. If the person is a believer and I'm a believer and we got different views, I'll make a video and I'm gonna say A, B, C, and D. I'm not have to dialogue. I don't really look at it like that. That Kelly, and I respect Pastor Kelly. Oh, he deserved this much respect. I gotta call and ask his permission, or I gotta call and tell him what I'm about to do. No, a polemic, somebody that's working for the king ain't gotta do that. He's faithful, don't gotta do that if he don't want to do that.
But didn't the word of God say, come and read?
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. All right, y'all. May the Lord watch between me and D. I'm gonna go back to my old. That ain't even got nothing to do with no prayer. But may the Lord watch between me and D while we are absent one from another. Love y'all.